As we all know, A Song of Ice and Fire, otherwise known as HBO's Game of Thrones, is famous for its bold, innovative, and unexpected twists. It's really a show that pushed the envelope. No character was safe. You never knew what was going to happen. And this season, they've really outdone themselves in the first two episodes. See, season 8 is only going to be 6 episodes, and we're a third of the way in. We have only 4 more episodes to wrap up all the loose ends, finish everybody's character arc, and defeat the army of the dead. So, like I said, they took a very bold and innovative approach to this, and it's something I wouldn't have expected. They had 2 episodes with basically no content in it. None, nothing's happened. It's literally just 2 episodes of everyone standing around Winterfell going, "The dead are coming. Are the dead coming? The dead are coming. Winter is here. Let's just have more scenes of Gendry making weapons." Isn't like didn't we have that last season? Wasn't that like a major plot point where Jon was trying to get dragon glass or get obsidian to fight the White Walkers? And that seems to be like a major plot point in this season as well. Oh, sorry, just a warning, there's going to be spoilers in the rest of this. Like, it's a struggle to even think of something to say about it. Like, let's see, what important things have happened? They told Jon that he's actually Rhaegar's son, which was done at the end of the first episode. And then he told Daenerys, and that was done at the end of the second episode. So that plot point got approximately like 1 minute of screen time, despite it being critical. And we really have no idea what either Jon or Dany's reaction to it is. It wasn't really shown on screen. So that's good. That was kind of a build up that we had for a number of seasons as Jon became the main character. So I think it's like an interesting idea to not like focus on that. Instead, we get a scene where Arya has sex with Gendry because she wants to lose her virginity before she dies. I think that scene was really good, and I think that definitely belonged in it. I think that's a good conclusion to her character arc and her and Gendry's relationship. Them just randomly having sex before the final battle. I think that was pretty good. Um, like I said, it's a very bold show. We have a scene where Daenerys and Sansa talk. That's super awkward. That was a pretty good scene. It resolved a lot of character tension. We have more scenes of just Sansa scowling at the camera. They completely character assassinated her and show Sansa as like kind of like show Littlefinger. It bears no resemblance to the books. And like there's not anything wrong with changing it, but if you're gonna change it, you have to make it good. Like Tywin in the show is very different from book Tywin, and he's a lot better in the show. He's a lot more like complex. They give him a lot more screen time. So it's changing it isn't necessarily a bad thing. So like what else happened? Davos gave some little girl some soup. He gave her some soup. We had lots of scenes of Gendry making obsidian weapons. That was important. Jamie showed up and they were gonna kill him, but Brienne's like, no, Jamie's my husbando, and Sansa's like, I trust Brienne, so it's okay. And so they instantly forgive Jamie, and Jamie goes and talks to Bran. He's like, sorry about pushing you off a cliff, and Bran's like, it's okay. I'm whatever weird thing I am now, and the Night King's coming for me. And they're like, okay, so we'll have him wait in the Godswood for the Night King to come for him. Is like, no, we won't have him wait in the Godswood. Okay, we'll have the Ironborn protect him. No, we'll have the Wildlings protect him. And that, like, that thing didn't really make a lot of sense. So all the non-combatants are going down to fight in the to hide in the crypt while the siege of Winterfell happens. And I was just once again, this is a very bold idea, and it's like because basically it's an inversion of inversion, because this whole show is supposed to be kind of an inversion and a deconstruction of fantasy tropes. So their deconstruction of a deconstruction is to have an epic final battle where the series began, and to have all like the women and children hiding in the crypt, because like this makes a lot of sense to me. Like the Targaryen Stark alliance has no other castles. They don't have a castle on an island somewhere where it's reasonably warm that they could send all the important non-combatants, because the the others have only really taken like the last hearth and a couple far northern castles. If the others were moved south and the other leaders were to survive, they could probably rally another army and try to do something about it. But like they came up with the idea, okay, we're not gonna put Sansa and Lady Mormont and all the other non-combatant lords. We aren't gonna send them to Dragonstone where they'd be safe. We're just gonna let everyone die at one place and have no fallback line. And once again, I think that's a very bold idea. Um, that's a good idea. I don't understand how the Unsullied and Dothraki can survive in the north when it's sub-zero temperatures and they don't have cold weather gear. But once again, like these are all bold, innovative ideas. It's a deconstruction to see like Dothraki riding around without shirts on in sub-zero weather. It's a really good idea. So like I said, that's basically what's happened. Nothing's happened, and they only have 4 episodes left to wrap everything up, and they've wrapped approximately nothing up. The only scene that I think is really bad so far is there's a very touching scene where Jaime knights Brienne and fulfills her lifelong ambition of being a knight. I think that scene was like bad because it completed a character arc, and it was legitimately emotional, and it was something happening, and I think that was a bad idea. I didn't really like that scene very much. I felt that that just shouldn't have happened, and Jamie should have just been mugging at the camera for another like episode, and John and Danny should just make eyes at each other. I also have to say, okay, I'm gonna just break out of the sarcasm for a minute. Danny is the worst queen ever. Can you imagine how bad her rule would be? She has no charisma. She has no administrative ability. She has no idea what the hell she's doing. Like, does she know how to collect taxes? Does she know how to manage a bureaucracy? Like, she doesn't have any skills. And she can't negotiate. Her negotiation is literally just having her dragons eat people. Like, when she comes in and she's like, Sansa doesn't need to like me, she needs to obey me. And it's like, but Sansa is basically, for whatever reason, Bran abdicated, so she's the Lady of the North. Somehow. I don't, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm going to piss off the only great house that's effectively still fighting for me, because I guess the Greyjoys are. But Yara doesn't have any troops to spare. The Tullys are extinct. The I guess the Aarons are also fighting for them, but it's like she doesn't care about alienating the people whose army she's depending upon and whose castle she's staying in. And that's basically it. She's just like, I'm going to take the Iron Throne. It's like, why? And it's like, no, we're going to take it. There's another scene I thought was really just like cringy, where they said for once in the history of the Seven Kingdoms, we'll have a just man and a just woman ruling them. I was like, but you've had good Targaryen kings. You had Jaehaerys the First, who's the old king or the just king, and his queen was called Good Queen Alysanne, and he was probably the greatest monarch in Westerosi history. He was so beloved that in Dorne people wept when he died, and he did all kinds of like incredible stuff. And I don't really have time to get into it. And you've had other good kings. You've had Aegon the I think it's Aegon the Fifth. Aegon the Unlikely was a good man. He utterly failed in what he set out to do, because the lords just blocked all his reforms, and Tywin rescinded all of them after he died. So there's that aspect of it. But I mean, there's been other good men who have ruled. I think there was Darren the Good. Um, Viserys the First wasn't that bad when he was ruling, although his death led to an unmitigated disaster. It's funny, the one time the Seven Kingdoms were ruled by a queen, it was Rhaenyra, I think her name was, and it was an unmitigated disaster. And she was in a lot of ways very similar to Daenerys. She had no diplomacy skills. She was a thought. She just ruled through fiat and terror with her dragons, and it led to a civil war that ended in, once again, an unmitigated disaster. So I think the beginning of the season's bold, and I think they're really taking it in a good direction, and it gives me a lot of hope for the remaining 4 episodes. So that's the review, and I'll talk to you guys later.